I haven't been reading manga for that long. If you want me to tell you the truth, I haven't been reading for that long at all because I only have 2 brain cells. I like to listen to my books, so that's why today's video is sponsored by Nah, I'm just playing. I'm still unemployed. I don't got no sponsors. Here. Whoa. The first manga that I've ever seriously binged was JJK. I had to read it after the Loudmouth fan base spoiled what happened to our glorious king. But about a year into my manga reading journey, a story came out that would change my entire mindset on manga as a whole. Kagurabachi. I love Kagurabachi. It's the best manga that I have ever read. Granted, I've only read like 10 manga at this point, but I think Kagurabachi is the peak pinnacle of shonen manga in my opinion. The art, gas as hell. The story, the themes, oh my god. It's all just amazing. Tekeru Hokozono is the best mangaka ever.
He's the GOAT! The GOAT!
I went back and skimmed through his older work, and I only skimmed because I just don't like fan translations. But this guy always had the source. So I'm extremely happy that he's getting his moment to tell this amazing story. I've been reading Kagurabachi since day 1. This is the first manga that I've been reading from the beginning, like since it started serialization, and I just kept up with it every week. So I was there in the dark ages, you know, when everybody just kept memeing on it. This picture, this stupid picture, it just kept circulating around my Instagram, my Twitter, everywhere, and it was before the chapter even dropped. It piqued my interest though. So when chapter 1 finally dropped, I tuned in and I'm like, oh my god, this is so hard. But like any shonen manga, this manga is amazing, but it's not hold on. Okay, let me. This manga is amazing, but it's not perfect. All right, let me change the script up a little bit. Kagurabachi is perfection, but it has one problem that I want to talk about today. And that problem comes from the absolute menace and wielder of Tobimune, Mr. Seiichi Samura. Alright, before you guys watch this video, I need you to do something for me. Please subscribe, you feel me? Hit the like button, and don't forget to comment if you feel any type of way about what I've said. Also, this video is going to contain heavy spoilers, so if you haven't read Kagurabachi, you should probably go read. I mean, I don't know why you would even watch this video, but the Swordbearer assassination arc has been the longest arc in Kagurabachi. We got to see new enchanted blades, we got some really good lore on the Seitei War, and it's still happening. And we also got introduced to new characters. We got Hirohiko, Iori, Rose, Sumi, and Moku, and of course we got the original wielders of the enchanted blades, Uraha and Samura. These characters turn the story upside down, and the Swordbearer assassination arc has easily become my favorite arc, and honestly, arguably the best arc in Kagurabachi so far. And yes, it's better than the Sojo arc. But as the Swordbearer assassination arc goes, the Shaku and the Datenseki goons start to attack the palaces where the Swordbearers are located. Their intention is to kill them so that they can wield the enchanted blade. Whenever somebody wields an enchanted blade, their spirit energy and their life is connected to that enchanted blade, which means nobody else could wield it as long as they're alive. But there's a catch to that. There's 6 enchanted blades, but the most powerful of the enchanted blades is the Shinuchi. The Shinuchi is basically like the heart of the enchanted blades. So if the Swordbearer for the Shinuchi is to die, then all of the other Swordbearers would die with him. But the thing about it is, like, the Shinuchi wielder, he's a YN. He was out here swinging that stick, you know, clapping that ratchet, and he head tapped like 200,000 people. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but basically people don't want to mess with him. Right now the Kabunabi got him locked up inside their base, but Yura's on his way. He want to go get his ass so that he can wield the Shinuchi. This is where Samura and Uraha come in. Uraha is the original bearer of the Kumiyori. Chihiro and Hakuri were sent. Yo, this is a lot of Japanese names at one time. Chihiro and Hakuri were sent to be his protectors by order of the Kamunabi. They all end up meeting with the wielder of the Tobimune, Seiichi Samura, who is honestly one of the coolest characters to ever bless the page. He's blind, but he's still cutting niggas up like Sushimi Hokozono. Both Uraha and Samura are nice without their enchanted blades, but as soon as Samura gets his enchanted blade, all hell breaks loose. Let me tell you guys something about chapters 57, 58, and 59. Top 3 Kagurabachi chapters, don't argue. I don't want to hear nothing. It's revealed that Samura has his own plans. Instead of just getting his blade back and fighting with Chihiro to stop the Hishaku, he himself wants to kill all the Swordbearers for their sins and then kill the Shinuchi wielder and die with him. This reveal was like the 3rd time I fell in love with Kagurabachi, but it still hit the same, maybe even harder than the 1st and 2nd time. It was dropped on us like a damn nuke. You know what? That's probably not the best joke to make in these times. The way it's revealed to us is crazy. Chihiro is fighting Hirohiko, then the Kumeyuri drops down and Hirohiko activates it by drawing a blade with his mouth, because he got his arm chopped off, and all you can think about is, damn, Uraha is dead, oh shit. And in the next chapter, it's revealed that Samura is the one that cut him down. Chef's kiss, Hokuzono. 10 out of 10. All right, I'm spending a lot of time glazing. Let me talk about what I'm talking about. In chapter 59, Samura and Chihiro get into a confrontation that ends up in Chihiro getting cut down as well. And both Uraha and Chihiro were officially pronounced dead. But a few moments later, Chihiro's wounds healed and he got back up, implying that Samura didn't really intend to kill Chihiro and he might have the power to revive people. Skip a bit farther in the story and it's revealed that Samura can revive people with the Tobimune's ability Suzaku. Samura's actual plan is to kill all the sword bearers, severing their contract with the enchanted blades, and then reviving them with the Suzaku so that they can continue to live after the Shinichi sword bearer dies, making Samura the only one that has to die for their sins that they committed during the Seitei War. So that obviously means that Uraha is still alive, and his reveal is great. Honestly, it's very cool, very grandiose. By the way, I just want to say shout out to Weeb, Dynamic Weeb, for spoiling me on Twitter. It was like, you know, the chapters come out at 11 o'clock a.m., but it was like at 11:05, bro. I opened Twitter. I hadn't read the chapter yet. I opened Twitter and Weeb posted Uraha's reveal. I'm like, yo, bro, thank you so much. Thank you so much for spoiling. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, Q, what's the problem with that? What, did you wanted Samura to be evil? You wanted Uraha to die? All you want is cool aura moments, bro. No, I actually like this change. It makes Samura one of the more deeper and nuanced characters in this story, and you guys know I like that after my solo leveling video. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, other than the spoiler, Uraha's reveal was ruined for me. In fact, Hokuzono himself spoiled it for me. Let me explain what I'm talking about. In chapter 60, a recently revived Chihiro is having a conversation with Shiba and Ro about the situation at hand. When Shiba tells Chihiro that he was most likely revived by Samura, Chihiro thinks about Uraha and if he's actually dead or not. And then Shiba says this.
Since you came back to life, I had the same thought. So I contacted the morgue. He's already been sent to forensics for an autopsy. Normally, they don't release any information without authorization, but I'm trying to negotiate with them to make an exception. But, given that we haven't heard everything, it's probably better not to get your hopes up.
This, in my opinion, is the one and only flaw that, if tweaked a little bit, could have made Uraha's reveal perfect. With these couple panels and speech bubbles and Chihiro's revival, it basically confirmed to us that Uraha is still alive. Now, personally, I'm not fond of ambiguous deaths. I feel like One Piece has scarred me with deaths in general, and don't get me started on this bitch. The trauma that the Nobara reveal caused was generational, but mostly because of how it was executed. The purpose of an ambiguous death is to have the audience thinking whether or not the character is actually really dead. And as a writer, the script has to be very meticulously worded, or else people are gonna see right through it and know the answer right away. And this right here was not subtle at all. Now, originally, before I knew all the information about Samura's plan, I thought that the decision to keep Uraha alive essentially was hurting the story. In chapter 58, the conversation between Uraha and Samura made it seem like the sword bearers really did some wild shit and they all had to die. Throughout the story, most people that fought in the Seitei War do not want to be regarded as heroes because of the things that transpired there. They saved the country, but they have skeletons in their closet and way too much blood on their hands. I thought Samura was like, yo, all y'all need to die because y'all was demons in the war, especially the sword master. Leaving Uraha alive would dull Samura's conviction and resolve, and it would make it feel like this moment was just played for the weekly cliffhanger. But then we find out that it was really only the sword master who committed the crazy demon crimes, and Samura wants to kill the sword master so that the sword master doesn't, you know, up that switch on anybody again. But of course, in order to kill the sword master and not have anybody else die, Samura has to sever their contracts to their enchanted blades. This revelation definitely made me feel better about Samura's betrayal, and I'll admit I jumped to conclusions as a weekly manga reader. However, Uraha's reveal will forever be ruined by these couple panels. But Q, if Hokuzono didn't add this dialogue, then when Uraha was revealed to be alive, it would have felt like an ass pull.
What? That nigga's tripping.
Nigga, how? Just think about it. All the evidence we needed was in Chihiro's revival. Once they suggested the fact that Samura has a healing ability that can revive people from the dead, that sends the hint that Uraha could still be alive. If Hokuzono took these lines of dialogue out and replaced it with something a little bit more vague, Uraha's reveal would have felt a lot bigger because we wouldn't have seen it coming at all. There might have been some people that seen it coming, but it would have been too vague to really tell. And that's what you need. That's the surprise of the ambiguous death, when the character is actually alive. But these lines of dialogue just spoon feeds Uraha's fate to us only a couple chapters after he died. Now, alright, I'm not a writing guru, alright? I'm not saying that Hokuzono is a bad writer, and I'm not trying to tell him how to write his story. I'm just giving my opinion on what would have made this story better for me personally. But at the same time, can I really blame Hokuzono? These days, reading comprehension is very uncommon. A lot of the anime and manga community have no literary skills. These people are the ones that think Garp is a good person. These people are the ones that thought the merger was gonna actually happen. These people are the ones that thought Deku and Bakugo were going to be in a gay relationship by the end of MH8. But then these people would also be the biggest theory crafters on Reddit, acting like they know all the thematic ins and outs of their story. That's probably why Hokuzono had to make it completely clear that Uraha was still alive, while also not making it completely clear that you know what I mean. But at the end of the day, it's not a problem that ruins the story. It's just a mishap that would have made the story hit 10 times harder. It would have had the theory crafters and lobotomists lobotomizing like never before. Aside from that though, I think Kagurabachi is damn near perfect, and I definitely clickbaited your ass with the title.